lesson, and today we're going to be talking about the plasma membrane.
Eukaryotes and prokaryotes.
Them ain't got to shake your head. Get that side check. Put it in pockets like it's.
The plasma membrane is the boundary between the cell and its environment. It regulates what enters and exits the cell. Cells must maintain an appropriate amount of molecules to function inside them. They must also have a way to keep things out or allow things to enter. This is the job of the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane is like the guard of a gated community. The guard must inspect those who enter and those who leave to make sure that only the people and things needed in the community are there.
You're comfortable in your house mostly because the thermostat maintains a certain temperature at a certain range, regardless of what the weather is outside. Similarly, a living cell must maintain a temperature regardless of external and internal conditions, including this includes regulating what enters and exits the cell. The plasma membrane serves as a gateway to allow or block the entry or exit of materials.
Them ain't got to shake your head. Get that side check. Put it in pockets like it's.
Eukaryotes are organisms with a complex cell or cells, in which the genetic material is organized into a membrane-bound nucleus. The defining membrane-bound structure that sets eukaryotic cells apart from prokaryotic cells is the nucleus.
Them ain't got to shake your head. Get that side check. Put it in pockets like it's.
There are two basic types of organisms, based on cell type: prokaryotic and, as Alex said, eukaryotic. Prokaryotic cells are divided into two domains, bacteria and archaea. Prokaryotes are the smallest living forms that can live independently. Most prokaryotic cells are tiny single cells, but most can form larger multi-celled structures. The first life on Earth consisted of prokaryotic cells. The most familiar prokaryotic species are bacteria. Bacteria are a very diverse group that has several shapes according to the species. The archaea are also quite diverse, but they resemble the bacteria in appearance.
Them ain't got to shake your head. Get that side check. Put it in pockets like it's.
I'll talk more about the animal cell in the eukaryotic organisms. So first, the cell membrane it is located here. The thin layer of protein and fat that surrounds the cell. So the cell membrane is semi-permeable, allowing some substances to pass into the cell and blocking others. That's the centrosome. So now the cytoplasm, it is right here, as you can see. Basically, the jelly-like material outside the cyte nucleus in which the organisms are located. The Golgi body, that is right here. So it is also called the Golgi apparence or Golgi complex, a flattened, layered, sac-like organic that looks like a stack of pancakes. So the Golgi body is also located near the nucleus. It produces the membranes that surround by the lysosomes. So the lysosomes are here, as you can see. So basically, the Golgi body packages protein and carbohydrates into membrane-bound vesicles for export from the cell. I'll talk more about the lysosome. So the lysosome is right here. The round organelles surrounded by a membrane and containing digestive enzymes. That is where the digestion of cell nutrients takes place actually. Now the mitochondrion is this. So it's reticle to rod space-shaped organelles with a double membrane. The inner membrane is enfolded many times, forming a series of projections called cristae. The mitochondrion converts the energy stored in glucose into ATP and adenosine triphosphate for the cell actually. Yeah. Energy stored in glucose into ATP. So I will talk more about the nuclear membrane. So the nuclear membrane is right here. That's the membrane that surrounds the nucleus. So I'm going to talk more about the nucleolus. That it is right here. An organelle within the nucleus, it is where ribosomes RNA is produced. Some cells have more than one nucleolus. So I'll talk more about the nucleus. The nucleus is this here. It's like an egg. it's like an egg, of course, as you know. And now about the ribosome. The ribosome is here. So that's small organelles composed of RNA-rich cytoplasmic granules that are sites of protein symbols. Now I'll talk about the vacuole. So the vacuole is right here, as you can see. So it's fluid-filled membrane surrounded cavities inside the cell. The vacuole fills with food being digested and waste material that is on its way out of the cell. Thank you for your attention. I really appreciate it.
Then ain't got much in your head. Get that side, put it in pockets like it's.
So now I'll talk more about the plant cells of the eukaryotic organisms. As you can see, the Golgi body, the lysosome, the mitochondrion, the cytoplasm, and the nucleus have the same purpose as of the animal cell. I mean, yes. So plant cells are eukaryotic cells that differ in several key aspects from the cells of other eukaryotic organisms. Their distinctive features include a word central vacuole, a water-filled volume enclosed by a membrane known as the tonoplast, that maintains the cell's turgor and controls movement of molecules between the cytosol and sap, stores useful material, and digests waste proteins and organelles. A cell wall composed of cellulose and hemicellulose, protein, and in many cases lignin, is secreted by the protoplast on the outside of the cell membrane. This here is a random walker. I mean, yes. This contrasts with the cell walls of fungi, I mean, yes, what are made of chitin. Stop it! That's distracting. We're having a biology presentation. And of bacteria, which are made of petigolism.
Hello, Mr. Houston.
Specialized cell-to-cell communicating pathways known as plasmodesmata. Pores into the primary cell wall through what as plasmata and endoplasmic reticulum do. So, cell division by construction of by a bramoplast as a improvement for building a cell plate late in cytokinesis is a characteristic and of plants and a few groups of algae, notably the charotypes and the other Trenophiles.
Then ain't got much in your head. Get that side, put it in pockets like it's.
The exterior of a prokaryotic cell is encapsulated by a cell wall that serves as the bacteria's only protection from the outside world. This cell wall is called the plasma membrane. Membranes are thin sheets that are organized in layers. So, the plasma membrane regulates the exchange of nutrients, water, and gases that nourish the bacteria cell. DNA, usually in form of single hooped cells, shape pieces. The liquid interior of the cell is called cytoplasm. The cytoplasm provides cushiony, watery home for the DNA and other cell machinery that carries out the business of living. Prokaryotes divide and thus reproduce by simple mitosis. Now I'm going to talk about the parts of the prokaryotic cell and their functions. First, I'm going to start with the capsule. The capsule is composed of thick polysaccharide. It is a kind of a slimy layer which covers the outside of the cell wall. It is used to stick cells together and works as a food reserve, and it also protects the cell from dryness and from chemicals. Next is the cell wall. It is made from glycoprotein murine, and the cell wall provides strength and rigidity to the cell, and it's permeable to solutes. Next is the cytoplasm. It helps in cellular growth, metabolism, and replication. Cytoplasm is the storehouse for all types of chemicals and components that are used to sustain the life of the cell and the bacteria. Next is the plasma membrane. It is also known as the cell. It is also known as a cell membrane. It is mainly composed of proteins and carbohydrates, which forms into fluid mosaic. Plasma membrane surrounds the bacteria and its important organelles and plays a vital role in controlling the movement of the substance in the cells. Next is the nuclear region. This is an area of the cytoplasm that contains the single bacteria DNA molecule. After that are the ribosomes. They are the smallest parts of the cell's organelles. Ribosomes play a vital role in protein synthesis as they consist of protein and RNA. They are located freely in the cytoplasm attached to the rough endoplasm reticulum. Next is the mesosome. The mesosomes are the folding present inside of the membrane. Mesosomes plays a vital role in cellular respiration, replication of DNA, cell division, separation of chromosomes during the cell division, and also performs the role of Golgi bodies and mitochondria. Next is the plasmids. They are small circles of DNA. Plasmids play a vital role in exchanging DNA between the bacteria cells. The bacteria cells have many plasmids. After that are the pili. They are short protein appendages which fixes the bacteria surface. These pili are smaller than those flagella and are used in conjugation or exchange the genetic information. And lastly, the flagella. The flagellas. They are rotating. It's the tail basically. It rotates clockwise, forward and anti-clockwise. The rotation helps the cell to spin and move, and it is powered by H+ gradient across the cell membrane. Thank you for the attention.
Then ain't got to shake your head. Get that side check. Put it in pockets like it's.
Hello guys, today we'll be talking about plasma membrane.
No.
Hello guys. Добре, точно.
Я вижте, пак нещо не съм го измемнал сол.
Е така.
Аз го държа и то зато и прави номера, бе, човек, бе.
Говори!
Значи, от тук почваш. Ти имаш ли готова с избитките как? От тук почваш и е така.
Алекс, закриеш камерата,
Това е
бе!
твоето, бе.
Да, от тук почваш, е така ми го държиш. So, I'll talk about the animal cell in the eukaryote organisms. So, the cell membrane. This is... So now I'll talk about more about the animal. Аз съм ти котика.